All right, welcome to the June 22nd, 2024 meeting of the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. I'm Martin Armstrong, and I'm sitting in for the general today. Let's have a call to order. I'm going to do this. Would everybody introduce yourselves so that everybody knows who's here? We only have 4 people. Is that a quorum? Oh, okay. I thought we needed 5. Go ahead, Kelly.
I'm Kelly.
Okay.
I'm Stephanie Sisti.
Hi, Board Member Jason Hood, or Vice Chair, actually.
Okay. He should have run the meeting, but I'll do it. Hi, Art. How you doing?
Doing well.
Good. Okay, let's do the approval of the minutes from the July 23rd, 2024 meeting. Has everybody had a chance to go over them? Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
I second.
Okay. Okay, let's vote on it. All those for, say aye.
Aye.
Against? Nay? Okay, it passes. The next is the citizens to be heard regarding items not on the agenda. Is there anybody in the audience that wants to speak about something that's not on the agenda? I guess not. All right, new business items. 24-1244, the discussion of the Parks and Recreation October project update report.
Yeah.
Are you going to cover that, Art?
Yes. I think you've received in your packets the, basically the project report that you have. I'm not going to go through all of them. However, there are a couple of changes, obviously. If we go down to McKay Park construction, that's on Clearwater Beach, and the construction manager at risk is hard at work, even in the midst of this storm and all the damage that we've had. He is out there and they're working. I was there today, and they are forming up the 6 pickleball courts that will be installed there. They've installed all the concrete work, hardscape, so to speak. So that's coming along, and we're hopeful that it will be completed by the end of the year. It'd be nice to have it as a Christmas present, but if we can get it by the end of the year, that would be wonderful. So I wanted you to know that. The next two, Pier 60, obviously when we wrote this, we didn't have 2 storms come through. So obviously there is a delay in the Pier 60. We can talk about that later, but Pier 60 did sustain damage in both of the hurricanes that came through. We were still trying to repair it from Idalia. In any event, that update is not correct, and we will not be doing the repairs right now. We have to reevaluate it. We will have to deal with the state as to if the pier is repairable or if we have to replace it. That pier was built so long ago that it was built at an elevation that is a lot lower than it is now. Now they require you to have those, the piers higher, but we're looking at it. Hopefully it can be repaired in place, and so we'll go from there. The next one was the sailing center, the hurricane repairs. Bless its heart, we've gone through 4 storms on that, and basically the last storm took out the 2 docks that were there completely. And so we're right now removing those and the pilings from the waterway, because it's actually a hazard that needs to be removed, from the waterway. And we will make some decisions a little bit later as to what we're going to do and how we're going to address those piers in the future, because more than likely FEMA will not allow us to put those docks back because they've been damaged so much by hurricanes, and so they'll let you mitigate. So there's some really cool things you can do. There are floating docks that literally you can just roll out and it'll go right on out and allow. They use them mainly for their Challenger program that they have there for youth and adults also that might be a little bit handicapped, and so they take them out on that, and that's what they mainly use it for. because everybody else able-bodied can get the sailboats out. The next one is the State Street Park. The State Street Park, just wanted you to know that those plans are complete now, not at 90%, and they are in for permitting, and we're getting the price on the State Street Park, and we'll go to the council hopefully within another month. So we'll get that one done, and those, if you recall, that was funded by ARPA funds, so we have to have those encumbered by the end of this year, which we will do. I'm available for any questions on some of the other projects if you have any.
Did you complete the paving on Soul Road Park?
We did, yes, that is complete.
Okay.
One thing we did do.
So you're all done with that? Okay. You all want to introduce yourselves to everybody? So that,
Oh, Candace Gardner, hi.
Hello.
Angelica Lonesome.
welcome. Okay, then you want to discuss the damages sustained by the hurricanes?
Yes, I can share that with you. One thing that I would like to do, though, is I know Stephanie's new here, and usually what we do when you have a new board member, you try to find a little bit about you as to why you're on the board, why you're interested in Parks and Recreation, and those kind of things, and just a little bit just to introduce yourself.
Okay. My name is Stephanie. I live very close to Woodgate Park, which is a reason that I got into Parks and Rec, because I want to be able to make change. I have 3 kids, 7, 6, and 4. We love to go to all of the parks, so I wanted to be involved and see if I could make a difference.
Beautiful. Well, the lady right next to you, she's gone to all 109 of our parks with her dog and has taken pictures of every one of them, so she can surely give you the tour if you need it. And she has a beautiful website that she promotes our parks and our beautiful Clearwater.
I had thought about doing that, like going to all of the parks, creating like a map, but I didn't know there were over 100, so I'll take your notes.
Yeah, you need to talk with Kelly before you do that, but that's
As a
great.
source.
Okay.
Well, some of them are not. They're rustic. They're basic, and some are very, very tiny. Some are just like a circle in the middle of the road, but it is zoned as a park and it's open space recreation. And we don't have any facilities on those. And with some of them, we actually have very large parks, but they're environmental type parks that are not really open to the public. But you know, at any time somebody wanted to see them, we could certainly open them up, give you a tour. Thank you,
Sure.
Mr. Armstrong.
No problem.
Let me share with you just a little bit on the damage. Obviously, it's in fact impacted so many people, and I'm sure it's impacted each and every one of you here to a different degree as to what the storm had done. You know, I was sharing with Kelly briefly, we had probably about 40 of the city employees that actually were impacted and lost their homes, or the flooding that came through, and some terrible things like that. So I know that it has impacted a lot of people personally and emotionally. I will say this, that the Parks and Recreation Department has been very instrumental in cleaning up all the parks and all the mess after that. Matter of fact, we let all of our employees go for the weekend. We told nobody's working, so we didn't have anybody on the beach, and we didn't have anybody downtown park. We made it so they got their hours, and were able to do that. But I even took the phone away from one of my assistant directors over the weekend to say, you need to go home, I'm taking your phone, so you can't answer it. So hopefully we got a good rest from that. But let me just share with you some of the issues we had. The flooding that we had, of course, was on any of those areas that were near any creeks, or of course certainly on Clearwater Beach. So these are the buildings that were impacted: Clearwater Beach Recreation Center and pool, both of those. The Pier 60, we talked a little bit about that. Of course, that shut down in the Pier 60 Bait House. Barefoot Beach House, which is, it's on Clearwater Beach, That was damaged. They hope to repair it, and that's where the people rent cabanas, those types of things. It is a very good a revenue generator for the city, and so hopefully the operators hope to get that done and fixed probably in the next, hopefully, 60 days or so. It's going to take a while. The other ones, we lost the South Beach restrooms. It was kind of, we call it like the six-pack. It was a little restrooms on the South Beach. Those are totally destroyed and will be removed. The Sailing Center docks, I just mentioned that. Those are both removed, are gone. The Bayside restroom, if you've ever been on the park near the Sailing Center, there's a restroom building there for people that enjoy that little park down there. That building was destroyed as well, and it'd be removed, taken out. The lawn bowls and the shuffleboard club buildings, both of those were flooded, and so those are out of operation right now and have to be repaired. Philip Jones is a ball field that we have. It's along, I don't want to say Stevenson's Creek in that area. That all flooded, and so those buildings and that ball field was flooded out. And the biggest area was Carpenter Field and the Baycare Ball Field. Those were both flooded. Baycare Ball Field, actually, if you went underneath the stadium, there's a whole world under there, batting tunnels and offices and those types of things. And there was up to 8 to 9 foot of water in there. It was like a swimming pool. And so there's quite a bit of damage there, and that will need to be repaired as well. As far as the timing of it, we don't really know. We're still in the throes of dealing with FEMA requirements, insurance requirements, and a lot of those types of things now. And the biggest thing we're dealing with now is trying to remove the debris and the rubbish, from the streets. As I'm sure you see, hopefully it's not still in front of your house, but if it is, hang in there. We'll get it all done in 90 days. Because if you don't get it done in 90 days, you can't get reimbursed for it. So obviously we will be getting it out. And if you live near Woodgate, then you saw them, they were using it as a site for residents to dump some vegetation.
Debris site.
Was that very successful? I went out Saturday and I didn't see a whole lot of vegetation there.
There's one pile. I don't think it's that much. I was
Yeah.
expecting more.
Yeah. Well, I would too. Basically what we did is we set aside a place just for residents if they want to bring their own trash or their vegetation there, they can do that. Because when you're collecting the garbage leftovers, it has to be in different piles, and they pick it up that way. And vegetation is one of those. As far as the parks, we're still cleaning up the parks. We have about 50% of our parks that are now open. The best way to do that is to go online and keep up with that. Go to myclearwater.com, and it'll have a click that you can go and you can see all of the storm-related issues. It'll show you also, you can click there and shows all the parks and recreation facilities that are open now. Some of our facilities, the recreation facilities that are open, are Countryside Rec Center, the Long Center, Morningside Rec Center, and the North Greenwood Recreation Center. Ross Norton Park is still used as a step-down shelter, so there are approximately 225 souls that are still in at Ross Norton Park, and we're trying to step them down and get to a step-down facility for them. The other one that we have that, of course, the Clearwater Beach Rec Center is not in operation. The other center that is not open is McMullen Tennis Complex. We took a great deal of damage there with a lot of the fences. Several large pine trees are down. We don't have a total number yet of the damage assessment, but we have, let's see, total from Helene, we had 6 These are just guesstimates that we have, the best we can. We go out after a storm and we go and investigate everything. We have damage from fences and, windscreens, we have amenities, trash containers, all those kinds of things. But from Helene, the damage is estimated at 6.5 million. And then from the very last Milton, it's estimated at 6.8 million. Those are just in the parks and recreation alone. That has nothing to do with any other infrastructure or buildings or roads or any of those types of things. As far as programs, we've had to close down the programs, of course, at McMullen Tennis Complex, and we've had to close down programs at Sid Lichten ball fields. Those are 7 ball fields that we have. We had sustained a lot of damage to fences there, and it's just unsafe to have the children out there until we can get those repaired. Eddie C. Moore Complex, fields 1 through 4, those are also closed because of the tree damage that we have and unsafe conditions. We don't want the public there if a tree should fall. We have what they call hangers, which you don't notice them, but if you'll look up, you'll see tree limbs are just hanging on, and those have to be taken down. And also, our arborists are looking at trees that if you see any wind damage and your tree is leaning somewhat, you really need to pay attention to it, and you need to look at the root balls on those types of things, because we're having to take down so many trees because of that, because they're just simply unsafe. Programs that are at Joe D. Ball fields are totally closed, because if you've been by there, you see that that's the main vegetation debris site for everything. So we obviously can't have any ball fields there or playing there. Marymount Park is closed as well, because they took a lot of the debris from one of the areas that was flooded the most, and they put it there temporarily. They've since taken it off, but now we have to refurbish that field. We'll have to look at it environmentally and make sure that it's safe, and we'll grade it back and have a better park than it was before. So I can assure the people at Marymount that it'll be very nice once it's done. As far as the beach, they're still removing and debris. They're almost completely through with that. However, the sand, they are screening the sand so that they can put the sand back onto the beach. So you have to go through a whole process where you get out all the debris, all the nails, all the things that aren't any good, putting it back on the beach, and then they're bulldozing it back to a level that it was prior to the storm. Hopefully we'll get most of the sand back on there. We're cleaning Beach Walk. Actually, today I saw them in. It's mountains of sand. If you've not gone out there, it's really unbelievable how much sand that came over. So we're working on the beach. The beach has never been closed. It's open, but there's no parking. So I'm sure there are parking garages that are available at some of the resorts and those types of things, but the public parking facilities, we have sand in them. So in any event, I think there's one small parking lot that is open, but I don't want to share with you because everybody that owns just go to that one little parking lot.
It'll be over.
I think it's an Avalon that Kindle. So that's what they're working on out there, the sand. Hopefully, we want to get businesses back up and running as fast as we can. We want to help in that regard, and we're doing the best we can. Like I said, we have no indication. We're working very hard to put together a schedule as to when we can get the repairs done and we can get everything back in operation. For the most part, we feel very good that we've opened our rec centers back, that we've gotten 50% of our parks open. Actually, it's probably about 65%. We have a crew from down south that came up several years ago. They had a storm, and they've come up here to help us. So they're in our parks, clearing our parks, and we're very gracious to them for that. So hopefully we're looking at probably by the end of next week, we'll have all of our parks cleaned up, cleared up, safe. We had to inspect all of our playgrounds. We have to inspect all of the trees, and we have to take down any trees that could be dangerous. We have a lot of hard decisions to make on some of these facilities. We have to decide, One of the things that we want to look at is how we can mitigate some of the issues that we had this time. For example, losing restrooms. These are hard restrooms. One was a concrete block building, the other was a wooden building. But one way to mitigate that is to perhaps, you have these restrooms that are very nice, but they're on trailers. They literally are trailer restrooms. You park them there, they're there all year long or for 2 or 3 years, but boy, if you have a storm, you just hook them up and you take them off. And they
Good
work.
idea.
And it's a great idea. It's the same way with the sailing center too. There are floating docks that you can get, and literally they're on trailers that you can roll right out into the water. You can attach them to the land. They can stay there for as long as you need, but then it's easy if a storm's coming, just roll them off. And we're looking at some of those things too, and some of our other facilities. We're looking at the damage that's done. We have to have assessment by our building department and by our engineers. Some of our older buildings, unfortunately, like the Shuffleboard Club and the Lawn Bowls Club, those buildings were constructed in 1950, and they've seen some better days, so to speak, and there's some rusting going on in some of the shelters. So we'll have to just make some decisions about that. As you know, this board saw 2 years ago, we proposed to do what we call the hub there, where we build a nice one large building that housed both the shuffleboard, lawn bowling, and we would offer things like volleyball, pickleball, a lot of different things, so it would be intergenerational, and people would come of all ages and difference to enjoy all of those different sports that they wouldn't normally play or do. So anyways, we're looking at that. The one thing you have to realize too, when you're rebuilding or repairing anything, there's a thing called the FEMA 50% rule. You know what that is? What it is that the FEMA, they will not allow you to build back greater than 50% of the value, the depreciated value of your property. So it limits you quite a bit, because obviously they want to get you out of the flood area and get you safe. And so if it costs greater than 50% of your appraised value, then you can't do that. So that's what some of these homeowners are facing, some of the people, and we as a city are facing those things too. So that's something we have to deal with. So I think that's a report. It's obviously enough. I've talked enough. Do you have any questions specifically about anything or any of our facilities?
I told you I wasn't going to speak, but I can't help myself. I have 2 questions. Where that repair money, the 6.5 million and 6.8 million, where that'll come from, and also the museums in the lawn bowl and shuffleboard, was all that damaged too?
Yes, the trophy room, I think, in the shuffleboard club. I have not seen it personally, but I think it was flooded, yes.
So all those memorabilia, that's completely gone?
No, I don't think it's completely gone. I think they're
Okay.
trying to take it out. The key thing there is you need to dry it out as quickly as possible.
Okay.
And get it done. And that's what we have tried to do with those facilities. To get in there, what you want to do is dry them out. You take all the wallboard off, anywhere the water can be, because then you have mold that will take over the facilities and buildings. So we tried to do that. As far as the money goes, we're hopeful that, and we are documenting things exactly the way we're supposed to. We will get reimbursed through the federal government. That is our hope and our goal.
Good.
So the federal government will pay for most things as long as we document everything, take good pictures, do everything according to Hoyle, and to do the right thing. And we are hopeful to get reimbursed for that. I think the state also contributes some funding to that. I don't want to quote me on that exactly, the percentages, but that is our hope. And we will have there will be some costs that the city will have to incur, but it's very minor.
That's good.
Yeah, when you're looking at $12 million, $13 million.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Oh, Art, I wanted to ask you, I saw some aerial photographs of Clearwater Beach before and after, and it looked like we had lost half of the beach, you know, as far as the width from.
The width of the beach?
Yeah, was that true, or was that
I
just
I haven't looked at the measurements yet, but I think about a third,
a third? Yeah.
maybe.
It was significant.
Yeah.
You could tell from the aerials that,
Yeah. About a third of the width of the beach, and that's what we're doing now. We're actually putting all that sand back and then pushing it, you know, with bulldozers back to the level where it was prior to the storm. Hopefully, we'll have enough sand to get most of it back, but,
yeah,
you know, time will tell and we'll see. Yeah.
okay. All right, you want to do the next one, discuss the keeping restrooms open?
Yes, this has certainly come up several times at this board and has come up before the council. It's unfortunate that our restrooms have to be closed. They were shut down in 2008 and 2009 due to the, you know, the shortages then. As we had to make some drastic cuts. One of the cuts we made were to close the restrooms, and we've never opened them since. We have attempted to do that. We had to reduce staffing. I think I've shared with you before, we were about 250 employees, and we ended up down with about 190. We lost about 60 full-time employees during those 3-year span. And those employees have really never come back into the city. While we've grown because of new facilities that we've added and new things, but we never really caught back up with those that we lost. Some of the things we lost were a custodial crew. There was a custodial crew of, I think, 3.5 people. We can make 3.5. And they went around and they cleaned all the restrooms. And unfortunately, to date, I've been unsuccessful. I've requested it in our budgets before to the city city manager and the city council. And to date, that's not something that it's made back in the budget. So that's just a short of it. I think, Stephanie, did you put that on there? Yeah.
I did. How many of the parks are the restrooms locked? Do you know how many?
I think there are either 6 or 7
Okay.
that are right now today locked. I'm thinking of Cherry Harris, I'm thinking of Belmont, I'm thinking of Woodgate, Marymount.
Eagle Lake. Isn't Eagle Lake Park closed?
Glen Oaks Park, that's 5. There's a 6th one out there somewhere. I can get you the list, okay?
Okay.
But those are 5 of them that I know that come right off the top of my head. But there's at least 1 or 2 others, I think, that are out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's just all budget, like due to budget?
Budget, personnel, resources, basically.
Okay.
Because you open a restroom, you've got to clean it. And
Yes.
that's the biggest thing. And, yeah.
So this is important to me because I'm near Woodgate, so my children go there, which we can walk home and use the restroom. But recently, my son was there with my husband, and my son pointed out, like, oh, there's a bunch of mosquitoes in this area. And my husband takes a look, and it was actually flies surrounding a mound of fecal matter under the mulch on the children's playground. So I would think the city would be more concerned with that on the playground happening versus opening the restroom.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that happens repeatedly, if that would maybe make this more of a priority.
Well, it is a priority. I think restrooms, I think everybody, you know, that's one thing that we love to have. I mean, because your children go to, you go to a playground and the child's fine, and 2 minutes, 10 minutes you're there, all of a sudden I go to the bathroom, you know. So I recognize that. I've got 7 grandkids, so I experience that. Some of our parks, obviously, that's not like Woodgate, but like Crest Lake Park, that's one that we do have restrooms that are open because, again, we have staff that's there, full time. and many of the other ones, the downtown parks, because we have, again, staff that's there to regulate it. So I do understand your concern about that, and we will take it under advisement.
Okay.
Yes.
Maybe you can use the mobile
Yeah.
body
We can do the
system.
mobile, yeah, we can do that. Again, everything costs something, you know,
Oh, yeah.
and especially with the restrooms, it's just a necessary evil, so to speak. I mean, used to, restrooms were one of the biggest things that we had too in our parks when they were left unattended, that were vandalized.
Oh, yeah.
And you'd go in a restroom and it would just, there'd be feces on the walls and just terrible.
Yeah.
But
It's a common problem.
it is, yeah.
Any other comments, questions? All right, let's go to old business items. 1211, discussing installing a short sidewalk at Forest Run Park from the parking lot to the right-of-way sidewalk. Yeah, I live around the corner from there, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's all right. Angela,
my son goes to that
I'm going to
school.
get on my
That's
my
knees
grandson.
and say, I am so sorry that
It's
that
okay.
sidewalk is not in.
It's okay. I understand.
Let me share it. Well, I don't, because I said, I've got a Parks and Rec board meeting. Where are we on the sidewalk? And so.
The only
report
reason I didn't submit it was because of the hurricanes, and I was all,
Well,
discombobulated
really,
myself.
it was because of something else. It was actually the permitting that we have to get from the state. There's a state road there, and the way
Yes.
we were building that sidewalk, and the other issue we had was you have to make it ADA accessible, so we had to do some different.
it is, it's sloped. It's
Right.
not just a flat.
Soon as we get the permit, we have the crews, we're gonna do that in-house. We have trades workers.
Okay, great.
They're gonna pour that sidewalk.
That's awesome.
I promise you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Going on to number 6, the director's report.
I've talked enough tonight. I don't have anything else to say. It's been, I tell you, the one thing I will say is that we are fortunate in the city to have some wonderful people, city employees that are committed and dedicated. Every, department that I've worked with in the EOC, but I'm so proud of our Parks and Recreation staff. They just worked so very hard. They were actually 12 on and 12 off for a while, 12 hours on, 12 hours off. And that lasted for a little while because we about burned them out with that. And then some of them had worked close to 20 days straight.
Gee.
And so they're dedicated to do that. And we wanted to get the parks open, the recreation centers open, to get it back to normalcy. So, because there's so much devastation that's around us. And so we're very proud, and thank you all for being here and supporting us, where you do. Thank you.
Most definitely. Number 7, the board members to be heard. Does anybody have, we'll start with Kelly?
I was just going to add to what Art said. I can see out my window and look at the Kings Highway Rec Center with the park and all the branches down. Helene, there was one woman, and she was carrying these huge piles of leaves. Now, she did it all herself. Now, I noticed after Milton, there was a whole crowd of them.
Yeah.
So I got to commend the park employees doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Okay. Anything you want to talk about?
No?
Okay.
I don't have anything else.
No.
No, nothing else?
No, I just want to thank you for doing an amazing job in cleaning everything up and
Yeah.
getting the beach back to the state that it
Yeah,
needs to
that's
be
a
in.
lot
I know
of
it's
work.
it's
Yeah.
a huge job.
Yeah.
Really do
We're
appreciate it.
blessed by having some good leadership, and I'm so grateful for that. And we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, thank you for your hard work. That was
All right,
awesome.
thank you.
I know it's not over yet either. There's still a
Well,
lot
it's
of work
not,
to be
we're
done.
just beginning. You would think after 45 years I'd get used to this kind of stuff, but you know, it's new every day.
I mean, we haven't had a hurricane like this hit us in over 100,
So this is, yeah.
That's true.
you only came in halfway, about less than halfway through it.
So this is new to me too, so we'll get through this. This too shall pass, and it's gonna be a brighter and even a better Clearwater.
Bigger and better.
Yeah.
All right, well, I guess we've gotten everything done. Let's adjourn